Alright, what's good, y'all? It's Poochie. Welcome back to some Black Ops 1 here in today's video, and more importantly, welcome to Ascension. Now, before I get into my thoughts and opinions on this map, I just wanted to remind you guys, if at any point in today's video you are enjoying it, please do be sure to subscribe. It would mean the world to me, and I would greatly appreciate it. Real quick as well, I apologize if my voice sounds a little shot right now. I don't know what's going on. My throat just feels like crap. I'm a bit under the weather, and I think I'm getting sick. But I'm going to try my best to power through this video for you all and make it through. So, yeah, Ascension, my thoughts, let's go. So, let's just take a step back for a second and just let's see how we got to this point, right? Specifically with BO1. So, first map on this game was Kino der Toten, right? And it was a lot of the same that we grew to love in World at War. It was the return of the 4 characters, right? A return of that formula that I've mentioned in the previous videos, right? You know, you open doors, you get to the box, you get your perks, pack-a-punch, all that. Even the teleporters kind of grew to be a staple into that formula, right? So we had Kino. And funny enough, it was actually supposed to be the 4th DLC map to World at War. And you could kind of tell with how eerily similar it is to that map in a lot of aspects. Like I said, the 4 characters, this similar gameplay loop, the teleporters, there's a lot in common with Doris and with World at War in general. And for whatever reason, it was scrapped from World at War. World at War's DLC cycle. It was supposed to be the 4th map or 4th DLC map on that game. And whether it was because of budget cuts, time constraints, whatever the case may be, it was scrapped and repurposed and put into here in Black Ops 1. And I think it ended up working out. I mean, Kino der Toten ended up being one of the most famous and iconic zombies maps ever, and I don't think anyone's going to complain that it was an addition here in Black Ops 1. So, yeah, that's Kino der Toten. The next map, I discussed it in my previous video, being 5. I feel like if you really take a deep dive into 5 versus Kino, you could kind of tell that originally the plan was for that to be the launch map for this game, being Black Ops 1. And just how, like, yes, the formula is still there that we discussed already, but it's just with the twist, you know what I mean? The map layout is completely different to anything we had seen up until this point. We did have the return of teleporters, but it was like a very different concept this time around. First off, there were like 7 or 8 teleporters on the map, which was a lot, honestly. 7 or 8 teleporters. The biggest change that it brought to the map was the change in the special round, being the Pentagon Thief. And if you guys watched that video, you guys know how much I love the Pentagon Thief and appreciate the challenge that he brought to the map. And I love the reward that he gave. If you were prepared for the challenge that he brought, it was just a really cool addition and a welcome addition, at least for me, in my opinion. But yeah, completely different map layout that we had seen up until that point. Addition of teleporters, or the return of teleporters, but a different layout or format to them this time with the randomness, the Pentagon Thief, and the celebrity cast, first ever one we ever got. So a lot of changes from Kino to 5, but those are the first 2 maps in this game. If you guys want to hear me talk more in depth on either one of those maps, feel free to watch each one of those maps' respective videos. I would recommend. I enjoy both of those maps a lot. But here we are, and we find ourselves on Ascension. And the simplest way I can put it and break it down for you guys is Ascension is just a really, really good and solid zombies map. And I think a lot of us think of it very fondly. And we have a bunch of memories on it. And why do we like this map so much? And why do we think of it so highly? It's a couple reasons. I'm going to break all of that down right now. So, first off, I think there were 2 key additions to Ascension that made it iconic and stand out. So, the first one being, and I think it's pretty obvious, the first ever Easter egg quest that we ever got was on this map. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be zombies guru when it comes to like the storyline and all that. I don't know the ins and outs of it to that extent, you know what I mean? But correct me if I'm wrong. I think it goes something along the lines of and we can hear it as soon as we spawn into this map with the audio and all that. Gersh is trapped in that vessel and that device over there by Stamina. He says that Samantha is after him and we need to save him. And us as the crew, admittedly, there isn't a lot of steps. We have to do steps to free him and his soul and set him free from Samantha. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's how the story goes. And the Easter egg just grabbed the community by storm, bro. Up until this point, all we had received in terms of like an Easter egg was the Doris flytrap, and it was a very simple quest, if we even want to call it that. Literally, all you had to do was just shoot the button that was way out in the distance outside of the map with a pack-a-punch gun. Teddy bears would appear on the map, you shoot them, and that was pretty much it. That was the quote-unquote Easter egg on that map. And then with the maps leading up to this, prior to this, we had Easter egg songs, but even then, that's even less of an Easter egg, even compared to the fly trap. So it was the introduction of the main Easter egg. And leading up to this, you know, we had little nuggets here and there, whether it would be like a quote from a character, or even the radios that were scattered around the map, that there was something bigger going on, like, you know, behind the scenes, that we weren't just mindlessly killing zombies. There was a greater storyline, I guess, going on in the background. And Ascension brought said storyline to the forefront with the Easter egg and with the gameplay. It wasn't just, oh, we're just going to shoot this little button across the map and it's like a little two-step process. Like, no, like, this is a full-on main quest and we're going to bring the gameplay to the forefront of this. Like, it was a big deal, and like I said, it grabbed the community by storm. Granted, like, looking back at it now, it wasn't the most, like, in-depth and complicated Easter egg of all time. It was not that by all means, but it was the first ever Easter egg quest ever in zombies, and it became a staple and something that we expected moving forward in every single zombies map, every single like main zombies map, mainline zombies map after this. So you have to give Ascension its flowers and its credit for introducing Easter egg quests to us, and it's the first one. It's a part of that formula that I refer to now, and it's a staple of zombies. Like, we all expect an Easter egg quest in every mainline zombies map, and it's all due to Ascension. So just off of that alone, that just makes Ascension one of the most iconic zombies maps and most like influential zombies maps of all time. And thinking about it right now, I'm probably gonna title this video something along the lines of like Ascension was like revolutionary or game changing, because quite honestly it was, just because of the Easter egg alone. Now, I said there were two additions that make this map like iconic, and that was just one of them. The other one was the change in the special round, that being the Space Monkeys. And boy, oh boy, did that change up the gameplay and spice it up a lot. So, the Space Monkeys, what are they? What are they? What is the purpose, and what do they do? So, their main objective is to steal your perks. And how do they do that? How do they accomplish that? So they spawn into the map, right? And they basically try to attack your the Perca-Cola machines. And if they attack it for too long, they essentially steal your perk. That's how they succeed in their objective, right? You are notified whenever a Space Monkey is attempting to steal one of your perks, because in the bottom left, you know, your perk icons, you will be notified with like a pulsating of the perks. You will get an audio sound, and you'll get an audio cue from the characters themselves. So you are very much informed, like, yo, one of the Space Monkeys is trying to screw you over and steal one of your perks. Now, I feel like you either love the Space Monkeys or you hate them, and there's no in between. And let me explain. So I'm kind of surprised they haven't spawned in yet, but let me explain. So I feel like a lot of people were put off by the Space Monkeys because of the challenge that they present. Now, it's kind of similar to the Pentagon Thief in the sense of it's a new and unique challenge, and you're really of no threat to die. But if you are ready for the challenge that they present to you, you are rewarded very handsomely. Now, what is the said reward? If you can manage to eliminate all of the Space Monkeys before they can even touch one of the perk machines, you are rewarded with a free perk. And you see what I'm saying, how it's very similar in that aspect to 5, and specifically the Pentagon Thief. Like, similar to that map, and with the Pentagon Thief, if you're prepared for him, you're rewarded with a bonfire sale. And let's say you have 2 guns at this point that you intend on keeping for the whole match. You get rid of him before he steals your weapon or one of your teammates' weapons, you're rewarded with a bonfire sale, and for 2 or 3,000 points, if you have Mule Kick, you can set yourself up pretty much for the remainder of the game, you know what I mean? And the monkeys provide something very similar to that. If you're prepared and you're ready for the monkeys, and you can manage to defend all of your perks without them touching it, you're rewarded with a free perk. And similar to the Easter egg, this was game changing as well, because this, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first ever map that allowed you to carry more than 4 perks at a time. Now, how did you pull this off? You had to purchase 4 perks beforehand, and if you and your teammates were able to eliminate all the monkeys before they touched your perk machine, you're rewarded with a perk bottle power-up, and that's how you get a 5th perk. And it was game changing because this was the first map that ever allowed you to do that. So this map, because of the monkeys and because of the Easter egg, it was game changing and iconic just for that alone. And one thing that I can also appreciate about the Space Monkeys is that they fit the theme and aesthetic of this map like perfectly. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this map takes place in a Russian cosmodrome, right? And we're essentially in a launch facility with like an underlying theme of like space and all that. It's very apparent by the humongous rocket right here. And the Space Monkeys, I mean, it's like in the name itself, Space Monkeys, they just fit the theme and aesthetic like perfectly. So there's just like so many things about this map that mesh together and blend like well, like so perfectly. Whether it's oh, here we go with the Space Monkeys right now. Whether it's the Space Monkeys fitting in with the launch facility aesthetic, the new tactical equipment that they introduced on this map being the Gersh device, how it's essentially a black hole and fits in with that underlying like space theme. Like it all meshes and blends together so well, and it just makes me think of, oh my god, they're already on Quick Revive? The round just started, bro. But it just makes me think of this map so highly, and just makes me think that Ascension truly is just like, bottom line, a well-rounded and well-crafted zombies map. And I have it, like, I'm sure that's one of the many reasons why, or a couple of the reasons why I have it rated very highly, and I think of it very fondly, and I'm sure that's why a lot of you think of Ascension very highly as well. Now, that's not the only things that Ascension introduced. There's a couple more things that they did. So, Ascension started a trend, or how I mentioned, we come to expect like a main quest Easter egg in every map moving forward. They also introduced 2 new perks on this map. Those being PhD Flopper and Stamina. Now, what did those perks do? I'm going to start with PhD because it's my favorite, one of my favorites of all time, and I'm sure it's the one you guys want to hear me talk about more. So, PhD, what does it do? So starting off, it costs 2,000 points to purchase. I'm going to buy it here in a second. And it gives you a couple abilities. The first one being, if you dolphin dive off of any significant height, like say for example down this staircase, you get an explosion at your feet and it will take out all of the zombies. It's one-shots and is effective up until like around 15 to 20. It'll one-shot, and then it still remains effective, and it will take out zombies decently well up into the high 20s, early 30s. So essentially this ability is just another source of damage and allows you to take out the zombies really, really effectively, kind of deep into the rounds. And that's just one of its abilities. And one thing that I can appreciate is that it really like incorporated the new movement mechanic here in Black Ops 1 and like brought it to the gameplay and like made it effective, that being the dolphin dive. Admittedly, the dolphin dive was something, it was like more of a quirk than anything, and it was mainly used up until this point, you know, Kino and 5 for trolling, more so than anything. But yeah, I can appreciate how PhD incorporated this new dolphin diving mechanic and it made it an essential part of zombies and the gameplay. So I'm about to buy it right now once this death machine wears off. But yeah, basically it just allows you to dolphin dive and you get another source of damage from it. I'm going to demonstrate right now. So dolphin dive from height, you see it takes out some zombies, and it's really effective up until the late 20s, early 30s, and a one shot up until like around 15 or 20. So it's really good. Say you're in a pickle, you're completely out of ammo, you can literally rely on PhD to get you through the rounds, to get you a max ammo, and that could set you up, who knows, for the remainder of the game. So very useful ability, but that's only one of 2 abilities that it allows you to do here on Ascension. So the second ability, and the one that I think is more important, I think you guys will all agree with me, it completely negates explosive damage and splash damage. Now why is that so important? It makes guns like the ray gun. We all know and love the ray gun, right? And it's a staple in a lot of our like setups, right? But you know, admittedly, the ray gun can be dangerous at times. While it is super effective, you are still at the threat of downing yourself because of the explosive damage and because of the splash damage. And because of Ascension and PhD specifically, it just allows the ray gun to be basically a safety weapon. You never feel like you're at the threat of going down if you have the combination of the ray gun and PhD. It's such a good like duo, and Ascension, and more specifically PhD, just makes the ray gun that much better. It's like an indirect buff to the ray gun and all explosive weapons. So a couple other guns that it makes really useful, and a couple other weapons that it benefits from PhD and this ability. First one that comes to mind is the M72 Law. I feel like it's a really underrated weapon, and it didn't really get used, and it still doesn't get used, quite honestly, like at all. But yeah, it's an explosive rocket launcher, does decent damage, and has a bunch of ammo, or I guess rockets. But no one really used it because of the massive explosive damage that it dealt. But because of PhD, you see an indirect buff to the gun, it just makes it that much more useful. So M72 Law, I can't talk. Very underrated weapon, and I would recommend giving it a try with PhD. It's a very good gun, honestly. Now for whatever reason, if you're using the China Lake, the crossbow, hell, even the underbarrel grenade launcher that you get on the M16 when you pack-a-punch it, completely negates all of the explosive damage from those weapons, so indirect buff to those weapons as well. But you guys can see it in the gameplay right now. The weapon that benefits the most from PhD is this bad boy right here, the Mustang and Sally, or also the base version of the M1911 when you pack-a-punch it, right? And I would say that PhD really put this gun on the map and made it even more iconic than it already was. Why was the M1911 so iconic? I mean, I don't have the base version right now, but the chrome finish, just how shiny it was. You guys see that reload animation? How satisfying and clean it was. The sounds that this weapon would make. What was I trying to do up here? Yeah, the Bowie knife. The sounds that this weapon would make, whether you're reloading or firing it, just all so clean, iconic, buttery smooth. But when you pack-a-punch it and you pair it up with PhD, it was a match made in heaven. And I mentioned earlier how the ray gun and Mustang and Sally was an insane duo. I don't think there's a more iconic duo than the Mustang and Sally and PhD. This combination right here put the Mustang and Sally on the map, really, and made this weapon so freaking iconic. And it went on to be, I'm speaking for me, and I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of you guys, it went on to be a staple for a lot of our setups moving forward in Black Ops 1. Say, like here on Ascension, for example, only one person can get the Thunder Gun. But you're telling me that if someone else has the Thunder Gun, I'm left with the Mustang and Sally and a ray gun? I will gladly take that, and I won't feel bad for myself at all. And that's all because of PhD. It just made the Mustang and Sally so freaking iconic, bro. And we love PhD for that reason. I mean, you could literally see in the gameplay right now, I was just sitting right here in the open, just looking down, and it just makes the Mustang Sally basically a safety weapon, you know what I mean? You kind of never have to worry like, oh my god, am I gonna die? I can literally just shoot at my feet and protect myself forever. And the Mustang Sally is just goated for that reason. And if you ever pack a punch this thing, you're pretty much set for, let's say, 30, maybe even 40 rounds. It'll take out the zombies really, really effectively all the way up until then. So it's an amazing weapon, and I would recommend giving it a go and giving it a try in like every single zombies match that you go into. Crap, they're stealing my PhD. And it's crazy because it's not like, oh, the Mustang and Sally wasn't a thing. Oh my god, they're back here. Wait, hello? I didn't get a max ammo. That's weird. You guys have ever seen that before? But yeah, it's not like, is it back here? It's not like the Mustang and Sally wasn't a thing on Kino and 5, you know what I mean? It's just that with the addition of PhD, it just made it that much better. And I just straight up did not get, you guys see that? I just straight up did not get a max ammo. I don't know if that was a bug or what. Let me know if you guys have ever seen that before. But yeah, that's PhD. I just went on a really long ramble about PhD, but it's deserved, bro. It's one of my favorite perks of all time. It's a fan favorite. I'm sure it's one of your guys' favorite perks of all time, and we all love PhD and what it brought to the table here in Black Ops 1. I know it returned in like Origins, but you had the staffs at your disposal. You even had the Boomhilda. Like, there was kind of no need for PhD, but we'll get to Origins eventually. It even returned in the newer CODs, and I'm not going to pretend and speak on it too much because I really can't. I don't play the newer CODs too much, but I'm going to take a guess and say it's not as iconic as it is here in Black Ops 1, and more specifically Ascension. But yeah, that is PhD Flopper. The other perk that it added on this map, and I'm going to purchase it right now, is Stamina Up. Now, what does Stamina Up do? It's not as in-depth as PhD, but it's also really, really effective at the same time. It's a very simple perk, and a lot of people like it. Literally, all it does is your base movement speed is increased, and your sprint duration is longer. And who's going to complain about that, you know what I mean? You're never going to complain about, yo, I can run faster now, and I can sprint for longer. Like, it's just objectively a good perk. And in my opinion, if you ever get it, like, say, from a free perk from the monkeys, you are never going to complain, because stamina is just objectively a good perk. It's as simple as that. Very simple concept, very simple perk, and it's loved, and it's a fan favorite for that reason. Now, is it one of my, like, core perks that I would purchase on this map? No. If I just purchased it, so it kind of is. I mean, I can discuss it maybe later in a later video, or maybe I can even discuss it right now. I was gonna say that Speed Cola is what I would prefer, but honestly, these days, no. I feel like these days I prefer Stamina over Speed Cola, and I don't know why. I can't put a finger on it, but yeah, I would say that my core perk setup now these days is Jug, Quick Revive. I feel like that's what you should always have as a solo player, obviously, right? And then I tend to stick with PhD and Stamina these days. I just feel like Speed Cola is really only useful if you're camping, and it's kind of hard to camp as a solo player, so I just don't feel like it's as effective. For that reason, I mean, you can camp on Ascension for sure, and I can bring up a couple like really iconic camping spots on this map. But me being a solo player, I'm only by myself. I'm gonna roll with Stamina Up in this match. So, ooh, Reagan, okay. But yeah, it just with the addition of the two perks, it was again another staple that we grew to expect with every zombies map moving forward. Granted, like, did we receive a new perk like forever with every new zombies map? No. But for a nice little stretch and a couple years going, we grew to expect an addition of a new perk with every zombies map, which was always something to look forward to, you know? As well as, and I mentioned it already, the addition of a brand new Easter egg main quest. So, because of all the reasons I just listed, it just makes Ascension so loved and so iconic. Another reason why I feel like Ascension is loved, and let me just go down the list. What did I bring up so far? the main Easter egg quest, right? I brought up the monkeys and the unique challenge it prevents, and you either love it or you hate it. The introduction of the new perks, but I just feel like it felt familiar at the same time. Like, it introduced a lot of things, a lot of new features, but it felt familiar at the same time. What am I talking about? The 4 characters returned. It was pretty much the same gameplay formula, minus the monkeys. That was a new addition, but you know, still the same gameplay formula. And the return of the Thunder Gun. You know, up until this point, you know, one of the most beloved wonder weapons. You know, it was either you prefer the Thunder Gun or the Wonder Waff, and I think most people's favorite wonder weapon at this point was the Thunder Gun. So, return of the characters, same formula we all know and love. Return of the Thunder Gun. So, it was a lot of the same. And I feel like if you love Kino, you are going to love this map, because I mentioned it in the Kino video. You guys can check it out if you want, if you want to hear me talk about it more in depth. But Kino was just a really easy and accessible map, because all you had to do was get on the stage, right, and train with the Thunder Gun. And it was a very, very, very similar concept on this map. Granted, you had the curveball that the monkeys would throw at you every 5 rounds or so. But it was really easy to work around, especially if you had 4 players. You know, everyone protect a perk machine, and you can pretty much ensure that you would be able to get 5 perks every match. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, it was similar to Kino, as in you just had so much space to work with, along with the Thunder Gun, along with the perks we all know and love. And it was just a really good experience. So, I mean, I've already showed it off here in the gameplay. I'm in the area that I'm referring to right now, but you're provided with a couple amazing training spots. My favorite one is this one right here. You just have a huge area to run around and work with. You combine that with the Thunder Gun, and it was very similar to, you know, say, training on the stage. And it was a really easy experience, an easily accessible map. All you had to do is get the Thunder Gun, pick one of a few different training spots, the other one being right here by PhD, and you could just go until you got bored or you died, whichever one happened first. So it was just very similar to Kino in that aspect, and I feel like that's why so many people love Ascension, bro. And why so many people think of it so highly and have it as like one of their favorite zombie maps of all time. So, and I think that's a good segue to where I would place it amongst my favorite zombies maps of all time. So, I'll bring up the tier list now. Just going top to bottom. The names of the tiers, right? So we have, the very top is my GOAT maps. Below that is the amazing maps. After that is the good maps. Then I have the tier named Eh. Below that is could care less, and at the very bottom is just straight up trash. Now, where would I place this map? I'm just going to go top to bottom here, and we'll go right down the list. So in the GOAT tier thus far, I have Doris in that tier. Why do I have it in that tier? It's for a couple of reasons. You can watch the full video if you guys want to hear me break it down. But I just feel like Doris is a really well-rounded and well-crafted zombies map. I feel like World at War, and specifically Knock, set the foundation for zombies, but I feel like Doris set the formula that we all know and love. Like, I feel like those are two different things. I think that I hear a drop, but I don't see it. What was that there the whole time? There's no way that was there the whole time. But no, there's literally, oh, it's right here. I feel like foundation and formula are two different things. And what do I mean by that? So the foundation of zombies is, okay, it's a horde-based survival mode. You have a set number of zombies per round. You get rid of all of them, you progress to the next round. That is the foundation. Like, that is the core, right? But the formula, and I've said it a bunch already, that is the process of, okay, we're going to open up the doors and we're going to have that sense of gameplay progression. We're going to progress through the map. We're going to open the doors so we can get to the power switch. Then we're going to hit the mystery box, get our perks, and pack a punch, right? I feel like Knock set the foundation, Doris set the formula, and I hope that makes sense. I think a part of that formula as well is like fast travel and teleporters, and they introduced that as well. Again, if you guys want to see that video, I describe it all in depth and why I love that map so much, and that is in my GOAT tier. Below that, we have the amazing tier. And within that tier, I have the maps Varuk and I have the map 5. Why do I have those maps in in that slot. It's because of the difficulty that they present. I've said it a bunch in all of my videos. I am a hardcore player. I enjoy the challenge that zombies presents, right? So because of that, I really enjoy difficult maps, and you're not going to find 2 more difficult maps than 5 in Verrückt. And you can just play those maps in so many different ways. You know, if you want to train on those maps, you can. If you want to camp on those maps, you can. Hell, on 5, they even swapped up the formula a bit, you know, with the special round with the Pentagon Thief. And you either love him or you hate him. I'm in the camp, I'm in the group that really really loves the Pentagon Thief and can appreciate his existence, you know? I love 5 for so many reasons. I love Verrückt for so many reasons. I feel like those maps, you really have to interact with your teammates. Say whether you're camping in the Pack-a-Punch room on 5, or you're camping in the Pack-a-Punch room on 5, or you're camping in the elevators on 5, or you're having to coordinate and deal with the Pentagon Thief. You have to interact with your teammates. On Verrückt, whether you're on either side of the power switch and you're coordinating who's going to open up so we can train here or camp here. Like, I just love how you have to strategize with your teammates. I love the challenge those maps present. The curveball with the Pentagon Thief. I love both of those maps, and they're going to go in my amazing tier. And I would think, based off of my comments in today's video, you would probably think that I'm going to place Ascension in that amazing tier, but I'm not. I am not going to. I am going to place Ascension at the very top of my good tier, right next to Kino and right next to Knock. Why am I going to do that? So, and it's really for one reason. I'm gonna give you guys my full opinion on these maps like I always do. It's my video, so I'm gonna give you guys the good and the bad. And I haven't even mentioned the bad because it's not even that big of a deal, but it's just me and my opinion, okay? I've said it already, I enjoy difficult zombies maps, and at the end of the day, Ascension doesn't fall into that category. I feel like, I mean, just look what I was doing right now. Just looking at the ground, shooting my Mustang and Sally, and have no fear or threat of dying, right? That's kind of what I'm alluding to. Ascension, bottom line, is just a really easy map for me these days. And why is that? I mean, you have the Thunder Gun at your disposal, the round that we're on right now. Not to say that you can manipulate the monkeys, that's not the word I'm looking for, but you can take advantage of them. If you have especially a 4-player game going, you have a nice little squad, a crew of friends, you can really take advantage of them and get a free perk almost every single time. So you have the option of getting 5 perks at your disposal, if really whenever you want, as long as you coordinate with your team, right? You have a lot of iconic and easy to use camping spots, being the PhD staircase, right? You have 2 people watching the front staircase, 1 on each window. Like, that's a really nice camping spot. Up by Speed Call is an easy camping spot to hold down. Not to mention the infinite training room that you have, and I mentioned it briefly. You know, by PhD, the lander right there. By Pack-a-Punch, where I've been running around quite a bit in this video. Like, you just have so many things at your disposal. So you can get 5 perks pretty much whenever you want. You have the Thunder Gun, you have the Ray Gun, you have kind of a buffed Mustang and Sally and Ray Gun for that fact, or for that matter, with PhD. You have the introduction of the Gersh device, which fits the aesthetic of this map so much, with the Cosmodrome, the launch facility, the underlying space theme, right? It fits with the map, and you can appreciate it, and it makes it a really well-rounded and crafted zombies map, but it just makes it easy, you know what I mean? I love the Gersh device. I love it. I freaking do. But you see what I'm saying? So many things at your disposal. Gersh device just gets rid of all the zombies in an instant. Also provides you with an escape route, which also the landers provide if you're, say, camping at or training at the PhD lander pad. Like, it's just a really easy zombies map, and because of that, I'm going to place it at the very top of the good tier. Now you may be saying, well, you have Darius all the way at the very top in your GOAT tier. Why aren't you placing Ascension there? And 2 things can be true at once. Ascension can be a really well crafted zombies map, and I honestly think that it had inspiration from Darius, you know. I feel like we had 3 branching paths on this map, one being right here by PhD, the other being this way by Stamina, and then up there by the Rocket and by Speed Cola. You had 3 different branching off paths like we did with Darius, and on that map you had a teleporter at the end of each path. On this one you had a lunar lander. So I feel like it's a really well crafted zombies map. I said it a bunch, I love the theme, I love the aesthetic. It all blends and meshes together really nicely, but it's simply just too easy. And 2 things can be true at once. I think Ascension is a very easy zombies map. I also think it's a very well crafted zombies map. But the easiness just it just overturns, or you get what I'm saying? Like, it overrides the well craftedness of this map, and for that reason I'm going to put it at the very top of good. And I think it's gonna stay there. I'm thinking and looking ahead a bit, just thinking about maps that I'm going to discuss in the future. I think that for the entirety of this tier list, Ascension is probably going to stay at the very top of that good tier. And I think that, off the top of my head, I probably have Ascension ranked in like that top, let me think, like top 12 to 15 range out of like all my favorite zombies maps of all time. Saying that out loud makes me think that I have it rated like quite low, and maybe I have it a little bit underrated, but you guys will see with the maps that I'm going to discuss in the future. It'll all make sense, and I'll explain the reasoning for every single map. But yeah, I just think that Ascension, and I said at the beginning of the video, simplest way I can break it down and put it for you all, it's just a really solid and really good zombies map. It introduced a lot of things, and it was the introduction of a few staples that we had here in zombies, that being Easter egg quest, the staple of we're going to expect a new perk with every single zombies map moving forward for a couple years, right? The staple of the Mustang and Sally being a staple in like everyone's setup if you didn't have the wonder weapon. Like, it introduced so many things, and we love Ascension. And those are my thoughts and opinions on it. You guys let me know if you guys agree, disagree down below in the comment section. I'm definitely going to be looking down there, and I really want to know what you guys think, because I think that I just have Ascension rated slightly below what like the general public would think about it. I would say that most of you guys watching this video, oh crap, there go my headphones, but most of you guys watching this video probably have Ascension ranked in like your top 5, probably closer to top 10. Whereas I just said I have it in my top 12 to 15, and I feel like I just have it slightly below like the general public. But you guys let me know if you guys agree, disagree, and let me know where you guys place Ascension amongst your favorite maps of all time. Couple other things that I want to discuss that they introduced on this map, just little minute details that I can really appreciate. So I brought it up already, but the Gersh device they introduced on this map was a tactical equipment, tactical grenade, and it was basically identical to the monkey bomb, but a lot more effective. You threw it, and it was basically a black hole, and I mentioned it how it really fit the aesthetic and theme of this map, and they knocked that out of the park like perfectly. I don't think you could have thought of a better idea than the Gersh device to add to this map, and it was a really nice addition to Moon as well. It fit that map perfectly with the launch facility aesthetic, slight themes of space and all that. So they knocked it out of the park with the Gersh. They really did. Speaking of space, I don't think I've mentioned it thus far in this video, but one thing that I can really appreciate, and it's specifically with Richtofen and the theme of space, they just changed his outfit on this map, and it's a really minute detail. Like, do I like this map because of that? No. It's just you can tell the attention of detail that they put into this map, and I just appreciate it. Launch facility, themes of space on this map, and they basically put Richtofen in like an astronaut suit or a space suit, and I can appreciate that. Another addition that they brought to this map was another tactical grenade, tactical equipment, right? That being the Matryoshka dolls. It was basically like a cluster grenade, and it was really effective. If you threw it into a horde of zombies at an early enough round, one grenade would take out an entire horde. So it was a really good alternative to the Monkey Bomb and the Gersh device, because we didn't really have, well, I guess the Gersh device really was an offensive tactical equipment, but what are they stealing? PhD, I gotta go. But it was a nice alternative. The Gersh device and the monkeys were like really more so distractions rather than more than anything else, and the Matryoshka dolls was like simply like a lethal equipment. So it was a really nice and welcome change and a good addition to our arsenal here in Black Ops 1. What else did they add? Oh, they added the sickle. Do I have it? Yeah, I do. They added the sickle, which, in the grand scheme of things, like, again, is it a reason why I like this map? No, not necessarily, but just a welcome change and something different. I think statistically it's identical to the Bowie knife, but it's just something that spices up the gameplay a little bit, something different, something new, you know what I mean? I can really appreciate that. But yeah, those are my thoughts and opinions on Ascension, and let me know what you guys think, if you guys agree, disagree with my placement on the tier list, and I'm really curious to know what you guys think. We are here on round 29. You guys do know how I do it around here. I basically just play until round 30 or until I die, whichever happens first. But yeah, it's pretty much going to do it for me. Little sneak peek into the next video real quick. So Ascension was the first DLC map here on Black Ops 1, and the next one after this was Call of the Dead. And again, little sneak peek, I'm only going to say this and nothing more. Dude, freaking turret is lighting me up. Call of the Dead. It's one of my favorite zombies maps of all time, and I can't wait to release that video for you guys next week. Hopefully I'm feeling better. Admittedly, getting through this video has been a struggle for me. My throat is like completely destroyed and shot. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm really struggling right now. So yeah, just expect the Call of the Dead video next week. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's just one of my favorite zombies maps of all time. I've been playing actually quite a bit of Call of the Dead over on VO3 PC because they recently remastered that map, and it's been a blast. But yeah, that's been it. That's been Ascension. We're here on round 30, so I'm going to end off the video there. Thank you guys all for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Ascension, if you guys agree, disagree with where I have it placed in my tier list, and let me know where you guys rank it amongst all your favorite zombies maps, because I am really curious, and I will be looking down below at those comments. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys later on Call of the Dead next week. Peace out, guys.